Hi guys, welcome to another beer review. Like I was saying in the summer ale review for Spital, they kindly gave me a few bottles to try. I've got one more to do after this one, but I really wanted to get this one reviewed, and they sent 4 bottles of each, and I've already drank the other 3, so I want to get a proper review of this one because, spoiler alert, I really like this beer. But this is the Festival Pale Ale, which was brewed specifically for the Regensburg Craft Beer Festival early last month in May. And yeah, fantastic event. I think I've already talked about it a little in my summer ale review, but again, 18,000 people, well, over 18,000 people coming to the festival in a relatively small city. It's no Munich, it's no Berlin, it's no Hamburg. You know, it's a small university city, more historical than anything else. And the fact that a beer festival in its second year can pull that much of a crowd, it's a feat on itself. But yeah, fantastic artwork. Definitely going to be keeping one of the labels because I've got no use for collecting beer labels, but I like the design. And I am rather shallow when it comes to beers, especially when it comes to the craft stuff. I know, you can't, if you paint a piece of shit gold, it's still a piece of shit at the end of the day. But I haven't really been burnt too many times when I've picked a beer up purely because of the label. And I'm of that opinion where if they've put the money into the promotion and the labelling of the bottles or cans, then they must be proud of it, and it gives you that little bit of confidence. But it could be, misplaced confidence at the end of the day, because I have picked up some nice bottled looking beers that have not really been nice at all. But craft wise, fingers crossed, I'm okay so far. But yeah, Festival Pale Ale clocking in at 6.5%, so it's more along the lines of maybe an IPA. And I've already poured it. This is take 2, but I haven't drank it, and it actually wasn't my fault for the first time that the video I had to reshoot. Even though I could have kept the video, but whatever. But yeah, beer in a glass, and to me personally, that's what I would consider more maybe an IPA to look like. It's not really pale at all. It's got a nice rusty sort of amber colour with maybe some orange hints in there as well. There's almost like a very slight reddish pinkish hue in there. I don't know how well that's picking up on the camera, but yeah, nice amount of carbonation, nice and regular. Tiny bit of sediment in there in places maybe, and beer poured with a very solid 1 finger's worth of slightly off-white head. And this has been poured for a good few minutes now, so it seems to have rested like that. Looks nice and fluffy, a little bit creamy as well. But yeah, a really nice looking beer, even if I do think it looks like an IPA. And you'll notice a theme with this review, because on the aroma, I'm getting again those IPA sort of aromas. You've got a really nice tropical fruit kick in there, more along the lines of, I don't know if lychee would be classed as tropical. I think lychee is an Asian fruit, isn't it? I can't remember. But yeah, you are picking lychee up there. You've got that like bitter grapefruit as well. But that's off balanced nicely with maybe a blood orange. And I'm also getting the aroma of when you get the little orange pieces that are covered in sugar, and they've been slightly dehydrated, so they're a little bit more chewy. I'm getting those sort of flavours on the aroma. And it's not really too piney, it's not really too earthy, even though I think I said this in my summer ale. It's been asparagus season here, and I've noticed slight aromas similar to asparagus in some of the beers that I've tried lately, but that's probably just down to me, so you can discount that little pinpoint. It's not even a proper term. But yeah, it's not really too earthy at all, actually. And it's got a really nice hop character. You're getting that hop right up front. Not really picking up the malts too much, but I don't know, it's got a chewiness about it on the aroma, if that's possible. But yeah, it smells good, but again, smells a bit more like an IPA. Anyway, It doesn't really matter how it looks, doesn't matter how it smells. Let's see what it tastes like. Cheers. It's really damn good. I'm getting like a nice, not too sugary or not too sweet fruitiness there. It sort of reminds me, and I've said this a few times with pale ales and IPAs, it reminds me of like Rantry's fruit pastels, where it's not artificial. It's not an artificial tasting beer, but when you drink it, it's like, and when you eat fruit pastels, like it's almost as if they've got juice in. But again, that's probably, I don't know how fruit pastels are made, so I don't know what really goes into them. So it's a crap, comparison. But it makes my mouth water in the same way as like, and it goes back to that like orange covered in sugar sort of vibe where it's a bit chewy and you get the juice. Really, really nice. Flavour wise, definitely picking up a grapefruit in there. Definitely picking up again like the lychee. And maybe a bit of blood orange. Not too citrusy in terms of lemon and lime. Maybe some orangey sort of citrus aromas. And it's got a nice bitterness throughout. Now, I used to not have trouble with really bitter IPAs because, 9 times out of 10 your IPA is going to be bitter anyway just because of the style. But sometimes it just didn't really sit right for me, but this is a really nice, pleasant bitterness. It's got a really nice mouthfeel as well. Not too heavy, not too light, not too watery. That carbonation works really well. And it leaves you salivating as you're drinking it. And it's just a really damn good beer. If you like your sort of like East Coast IPA sort of beers, then this is one that if you get to try it, I think you will agree that this is fantastic beer. And I loved it last year. It's even better this year. And yeah, the only way you're really going to try this in the future is if you come to the Craft Beer Festival. Because I think it'd be good if they did produce this on a more regular basis, but at the same time it makes it a little bit more special when the festival comes around. And yeah, it's just an absolutely phenomenal little IPA, and it's got a really nice, I don't want to say alcohol warmth, but it's, I don't know, it's going to sound quite weird, but it's nice on the throat. But yeah, very, very solid beer indeed, and definitely one of the best Spital Manufaktor sort of crafty beers that I've tried. I couldn't tell you right now why I'd prefer this to the Pale Ale or the IPA. There's just something about it. It ticks all the boxes for my personal tastes, and it's a terrific beer. So next Craft Beer Festival, this is just turned into a commercial for the Craft Beer Festival, isn't it? Do yourselves a favour, come down, see what Germany has to offer in terms of craft beer. It's still a relatively young era, if that's the right phrasing, but they're definitely pulling all the stops out. Some craft brewers, don't get me wrong, they bring out these like IPAs, pale ales, their interpretations of a stout, that sort of thing, and sometimes they could have tried a little bit more. Sort of like what Beck's is doing here, where they're bringing out their amber lager, they've brought a pale ale, a ruby ale as well. They're nice beers, and they're nice beers and much better than the regular Beck's, but they could do so much more. And it's great to see a brewery like Spital, which has got a long history, very traditional brewery, very highly regarded here in Bavaria, and to see them trying new styles, and it's been a success from what I've seen. It's just all great, and it's great that I can be here to do these beer reviews and meet the people involved. Tomorrow there's an event at Birretta because it's their 1 year anniversary. Look at all what's happened in that 1 year. It's absolutely fantastic stuff. So hopefully someone from Spital will be there so I could talk about this beer because it is fantastic. But anyway, I've waffled on way too long enough. Check out the Spital playlist down below for my other reviews. If you are watching this and you're at the Craft Beer Festival, then let me know your thoughts and opinions on the beer itself. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask, but I'll be putting the links down to Spital anyway. I've recently started a Twitter, so that'll be in the description box. I've got an Instagram as well, so if you're into those social medias, then feel free to follow me. And of course, subscribe for more beer reviews. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this beer review. I definitely enjoyed drinking this beer. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.